This is Goals with Soul, the podcast for visionary coaches and entrepreneurs, building your business with inspired action. In alignment with your mission and authentic message, so you can create impact for your soul clients and feel lit up every day. I'm your host, Jo Ingram, married mum of 3 daughters from London and a former ad agency director turned business coach and strategist. In Goals with Soul, we blend revenue generation with energetics, marketing strategies with pranic healing, and ambitious business goals with our soul's desires. If you're looking to build your business with less efforting and more ease, this is the podcast for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to Goals with Soul. I'm Joanna Ingram, and today we're talking about one of my favourite topics, that of manifestation. If you've been a long-time listener of the show, you'll know that probably around season 4, I was talking about manifestation and my experience as an overthinker quite a lot. It had become something that had become very central and not about manifesting, riches beyond my wildest dreams, although, that would be very welcome, but manifesting just a general sense of happiness and abundance across multiple areas of my life and seeing signs and synchronicities and really enjoying the process of that quiet whisper of intuition being a much bigger part of my day-to-day life and decision making. And I'm so excited today to be able to introduce you to the amazing Luna Starfeather, who is a very close personal friend of mine. It turns out, although I met her through the industry and we met at a retreat, she only lives 20 minutes down the road from me and is a true soul sister who has been there for me throughout a really difficult period last year, and just goes to show that sometimes we meet, oftentimes through our work, through this soulful industry, people in our lives that feel that they've been traveling alongside us forever and certainly become a central part of our support and network system. And Luna has and is playing that role for me, which is why, getting her on to present really what is her incredible gift and unique talent has been something I've been excited for quite some time. Luna is trauma-informed. She's a manifestation mentor, quantum healer, soul activator, and most recently a #1 international best-selling author. She's also mastered Reiki. She's an experienced psychic medium, and she's trained in shamanic healing arts. What's so incredible about Luna particularly, and you'll hear it as she tells you, is what she has manifested in her life against a backdrop of extraordinarily difficult circumstances, particularly around her health, and has become a inspiration and icon for so many who have also suffered from debilitating or chronic health issues and want to create such a different reality for themselves. And that's certainly what Luna embodies and now teaches. She combines 17 years of experience in fields of holistic medicine, transformational life coaching, energy medicine, inner child healing, NLP, EFT, Zen Meditation and Mindfulness, belief clearing, quantum healing, intuitive guidance, DNA activation. I could go on because Luna has been clearly on a quest the last 20 years or so to arm herself with more modalities than most of us could expect to master in a lifetime. And she's brought this all together in one incredible package, which she's going to share with us today. Let's dive in. Welcome to Goals with Soul, Luna.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, primarily because it's taken us so long to get here.
It has. This has been on the calendar for a really long time. And I might recall that I put it in the wrong month, which was on me. But as a believer in divine timing, I have a feeling that what's meant to come through today is going to be absolute gold. And I'm so excited to dive into this topic particularly with you because, I'm not unfamiliar with the topic of manifestation. And I think here on Goals with Soul, we've probably covered this in a couple of different ways over the last 3 or so years. But the way that you talk about manifesting and the thoughts that you have on it, I have to say, I've found completely unique, refreshing, and goes a long way to helping me understand a bit why manifesting hasn't always worked, not just for myself, but for so many overthinkers and, people that just want to get on with the doing. And before, I just witter on and we dive into, the real crux of how to manifest in our business, in our life, and so on. I'm curious, could you share a little bit about how you got where you are and why you do what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I started learning about all of this stuff and training up in it about a decade ago, when my life came to a grinding halt, when I was struck down with two, according to science, incurable diseases, and I was rendered bedbound. And essentially, I lost all control in my life. I lost my external world. Everything just kind of came crashing down. And so there was nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. And as always, when the rug is pulled out from under us, the only way is up, right? So I was given this enormous nudge from the universe to look inward and to essentially find my true self and my purpose and why I was here. And as soon as this happened to me, I just knew. I just had this deep knowing that I could not only heal myself from the inside out, but I could change my life. I just knew. And it didn't matter what anybody was telling me. I just knew. And it was a long trial and error process, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. But I got there. And now I have the great joy of being able to look back on that whole process from the other side of the veil, as it were, and be able to say, I get it. I did it. And now I can help you do it. And there really is a magic to it all. You know, a lot of people, it's funny, when I started doing this work 10 years ago, no one was really talking about the word, like the word quantum didn't really come up. I'm a quantum healer and I teach quantum manifestation, but the word quantum never really came up in conversation back then. If you talked about anything quantum, people didn't know what you were talking about, or they thought you were talking about woo-woo stuff. Now, thanks to the world of online business and online courses, there's so much available to us out there now. Everybody is teaching something to do with manifestation and like quantum healing. You hear it everywhere now. And so fortunately, when I talk about this stuff now, a lot of people recognize there's nothing woo about this stuff. It's all quantum physics and quantum mechanics. It's science. And what I love to do in my work is bridge those two worlds of science and spirituality, because a lot of people think they're mutually exclusive, and they're not. It's the same stuff. It's just different terminology. So I like to know my audience and speak to them accordingly. But essentially, the art of healing oneself and healing one's life, or creating the life that we desire and that we choose, can all be done using the laws of physics, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, it's kind of so intriguing because, like you say, a lot of us and a lot of the listeners to this show, are involved in the world of woo in some way, in spiritual or soulful pursuits. And I think that sometimes as spiritual people, we ourselves forget that this is actually can be explained in a way that's rooted in science. And I love how that's at the forefront of what you teach. Go on, give us a little burst. Like, how is it for somebody that's like, yeah, I mean, I hear about manifestation. I get that we're all energy and it's all about the vibes. How is that actually aligned with quantum physics and in a way that perhaps our loved ones who are outside of the spiritual world would kind of understand what it is we're on about when we talk about things like law of attraction?
Yeah. So as Einstein taught us, everything is made up of energy, and energy vibrates. And the law of vibration teaches us that, everything is in a constant state of movement and vibration. Now, so everything is made up of energy. Energy is consciousness. Consciousness is energy. We are energetic beings, and we are essentially projections of consciousness. Everything in our 3D reality that we see and touch is a projection of consciousness. Now, thought is an attribute of consciousness, and thought is the mechanism by which consciousness can project itself into the hologram of form. So, in other words, we are manifestation machines, and we can think reality into form. So we, in other words, can create our reality with our thoughts. And it's not just our thoughts, it's our own energetic frequency. So everything that is showing up in our reality at the moment, if you take a look at your life and you look at the quality of your life, the people in it, the opportunities you're attracting, your level of health, your level of abundance, whatever's showing up in your reality is a direct result of the level of frequency that you are currently vibrating at. So everything in your life is an energetic match to your own vibration. And we can affect our own vibration by choosing what we focus on, choosing what we think. And most people don't choose their thoughts. They allow their present circumstances to determine what they think about or what they focus on. They do it the wrong way around. But actually, if we choose to direct our thoughts in a focused, intentional, ordered way, we can consciously manifest our 3D reality. This is called thought manifestation. We are divine architects. We are energetic architects. And just like an actual architect who builds houses works from a blueprint rather than just, throwing some bricks together and creating a building, we also have a blueprint. We have a manifestation blueprint at the thought energy level, and that is the DNA template. And that is the quantum level. And that is the level that I work at in my work, because by working at the DNA level, by working at the quantum level, you actually have the power to reset and change your manifestation blueprint, which will affect in turn what you're attracting into your reality. It's pretty cool.
It's very cool. And that's a lot of information. It's like my brain's kind of galloping to keep up. And a lot of it I'm familiar with, but the way that you describe it is a kind of a different vocabulary. There's something about the energy of your explanation that isn't the same as Manifestation Babe or a number of other, big names in the industry that talk about this stuff. And the way that you describe it really makes me wonder, and it brings on like lots of big existential questions, right? I love, right, I am gonna hit you with my questions, um, which is around this idea that if we are all individual creators of our own reality, what is the kind of collective consciousness? So, at the time of recording this, the world is not a very great place. It's a lot of conflict, a lot of disagreement, a lot of heavy energies. So, how is it that so many people are having the same experiences?
Okay. So our thoughts, which are essentially electromagnetic operational instructions, our thoughts have a magnetic field. They actually have a magnetic field. And there's been many scientific studies done that proves this. These magnetic fields become intermingled with the collective magnetic thought field. Okay. So these thoughts are not only directed into our own individual body, they're also directed into the larger holographic field of our external reality. So they combine with everyone else's thoughts, creating the collective, what we know as the collective. So in actual reality, our 3D reality as we perceive it is actually a combination of our own thoughts and the thoughts of others or the collective. And if you think about it, this is actually how a lot of natural disasters and other sort of global cataclysms like war and plague can be explained. They're collective disordered thought, such as fear or rage. And in turn, it also explains the power of collective positive thought, like collective prayer, like focused positive thought or intention. Like, have you ever had that experience where someone's been at death's door and you've rallied round to your people and you said, can everybody please send positive thoughts or positive I had this with my own father. When my father was on life support, we rallied round to our tribe and we said, can everybody please send out prayers, send out positive thought? And what do you know? Against all the odds, that, the intensive care unit had bets on my dad to be the first one out, of ICU, the first one gone, because he'd been on life support for 6 weeks. Even if the chances of him, coming back were very slim. And even if he did come back, they said he'd probably have brain damage and complete organ failure. So they said there was no chance. They had him on do not resuscitate. But we just knew that if we set that intention and we sent enough positive energy, that we could affect the outcome. And what do you know? He woke up and he made a full recovery. And that was the power of collective intention, collective positive thought that actually affected the reality. It's very powerful.
It is. It's quite amazing. I mean, a beautiful story about your father. And, I know that that's something that's been documented about the power of collective prayer and thought. And, to some degree, it's so reassuring, isn't it? It's like, oh, right. So I don't like what's going on around me. My 3D reality sucks. I'm not speaking about my experience. I'm like, this is the reality. Most people are like, oh, I wish my business were doing better. I wish my relationships were better. There's a problem with my health. I don't like where I'm living. There's a catalogue of things in the 3D reality that people have to dislike and to want to change. And yet, year after year, even people who have an understanding of the law of attraction seem to still be stuck. So, like, what is it that, if it's as simple as, oh, my thoughts create feelings and feelings create my vibration, so I need to be really mindful of my thoughts? What's going on? Like, why is it so rare that somebody masters this, it seems, and so common for people, even the people who intellectually understand it, don't really get to implement it in a way that they notice that really matters?
Well, to quote Hamlet, there's the rub. So there's a missing piece. There is a missing piece. The law of attraction has been beautifully offered out to the collective by, vehicles like The Secret and, Ask and It's Given, which for me, the work of Abraham Hicks, as I know you're a fan as well, has been a really, really great and complete explanation for how, thought energetics work. When it comes to active manifestation, there seems to have been a secret missing piece that I have noticed that's been left out. So a lot of what the mass are taught is, you can use very, very, very effective techniques like affirmations and vision boards and things, to focus your visuals, focus your mind, focus your intention, focus on your outcome. And then you focus on it and you send out positive energy and then you expect it to come. Now, none of that is wrong. And that is all part of the puzzle. However, what is not taken into account is the current state of your energy. Our energy field has to be in alignment with our thoughts, with our actions, with our feelings. Everything works as a coherent unit, or should, in order for us to affect our reality consciously, not by default. So we all have invisible energetic interference in our lives that is influencing what we are manifesting into our reality, that is causing us to unconsciously manifest the same negative patterns or cycles of things showing up in our reality over and over again without our say so. And we don't understand why this is happening. And that's where I come in. So I help people identify and then clear these energetic blockages that are influencing their ability to be able to manifest on purpose, because we all have these things. It's nobody's fault. We come into this experience with soul level blockages. We pick up karmic imprints. As soon as we incarnate onto the earth, we pick them up from the earth. We inherit them from our ancestral line and our genetic parents. We create them through our negative choices throughout our lives. And we also have various auric attachments that are in our energetic field. And all of these things we cannot see, we're not aware of, but they're responsible for us, finding ourselves getting caught up in the same cycles of toxic or abusive relationships, negative cycles around money and attracting abundance that some people can't understand. I've had so many clients come up to me and, ask me for help in their business because they've got all the business strategies in place. They know what they're doing in terms of the technical side of business. They're very good at what they do. They're very capable. They've got all their ducks in a row. And yet they can't seem to hit their target, and they don't understand why. And it's because there's something in their energy field that is energetically repelling that level of abundance. Quite often, it's things such as energetic blockages around issues of unworthiness or undeservedness, or it could be karmic imprints of, past lives where they've made vows of poverty. They don't, and therefore that's affecting what they're able to attract in this life. It can be something as innocuous as that, but they're very real things, and they're affecting what we're able to manifest now, because actually time is an illusion. Time is not linear. There's no past, present, and future. Everything is happening now. But when we work at the quantum level, we are changing and altering our reality in the now moment, which has a knock-on effect on all our, I don't want to say past, all our parallel lifetimes and experiences, and across our entire ancestral line, on a soul level, on an Akashic record level. So when we clear these energetic blockages, we remove the negative influence that these forces are having on our present reality. And when they're gone, it's like having an energetic reset, and we are returned to our free will choice, giving us the freedom to use our thoughts, to direct our thoughts accordingly and create what we want. A perfect example of this is when I got into the world of online business, which was just a year ago. Because I'd done all the energy work that I needed to do underneath, what I was lacking was the business strategies, all the external stuff, the technical stuff. I didn't have a clue how to do any of this stuff. So I jumped into a mastermind, having no idea what I was doing. I did exactly what my mentor told me to do. And she and everyone in my group was amazed that when I was putting these strategies in place, I was kind of hitting my first sales immediately and daily. And I hit my target for what I wanted for my first ever group. And everyone was saying, including my mentor, I've never seen anybody have this kind of, have this kind of return in this strategy, like in DM sales and things like that. How, I've never seen anything like it. And I believe it's not because I'm really good at business. I was a novice. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just doing what I was told. Same thing she told other people to do. But I truly believe it was because I'd done the energy work underneath. I cleared what I needed to clear. I was in alignment. So once my external ducks were put in a row, everything dovetailed. And most people are trying to correct from the outside inwards. They're trying to change what's in their external reality first, rather than trying to align from the ground level up, from the blueprint up, in order to affect their external reality accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I remember you launching at that time, as I remember going, what the heck? That's phenomenal. And you said to me at the time, is it? Well, doesn't that normally happen? I was like, no, really, it's your first time out the gate with a program, starting to share it. I think you were in Facebook, and you were like, oh yeah, people are just saying, oh, I'd love to join. And I just signed a couple up today, got another conversation tomorrow. And it isn't normal. And I think that you make a really good case for the reality that shifting the energy can often be the missing piece that changes the experience that you're having in a lot of different areas of your life. And, I know that you and I do love to dive into the business. We've got that in common. But I love the fact that you obviously talk about how this affects the other parts of your life as well.
Mm.
And it's like, do you find that when people work with you, perhaps, coaches, entrepreneurs, people in business, that actually these sorts of methods affect their relationships and their health? I mean, I know the answer is yes. I guess I'm keen to hear like how it really works in those different areas as well.
Well, I think because everything that shows up in your life is an extension of you and your energy, it can't help but. So, often a client has come to me for help with their health. They're stuck in a cycle of poor health and they can't understand why. We may not go straight to addressing the health issue. I will just go to the core and find out how they're thinking, what they're feeling, identifying the patterns of what's shown up in their life. The health is a symptom of a distortion in their energetic field that's creating twisted energy patterns in their field that's causing a health issue. And then when we correct those and we remove the kinks and we align their energy, their health improving is a positive byproduct of that. And then suddenly they notice that certain unhealthy or toxic relationships that they've had in their lives suddenly disappear. These people just fall out of their hologram. They just go away. Or a more harmonious relationship enters their life. We have to clear out the debris in order to attract the higher frequency, right? And then they'll notice that an amazing opportunity has just flown into their life, like that their ideal job has suddenly magically shown up. And they say, I can't understand what's happening. It's like magic. And I go, yeah, kind of is. And it's because everything is connected. When you change your point of attraction, you change when you change your frequency, you change the frequency of what you're able to attract into your life. So what I help people do is not just clear their energy, but then upgrade their entire energetic grid so that they can manifest a completely new energetic grid. They can manifest an entirely new and higher frequency of people, opportunities, events, situations, things, anything into their lives. And that falls into all those categories. And then it just all happens in divine right order and divine right timing.
I'm going to volunteer myself to ask a really stupid question, but
there are no stupid questions.
If it's coming through me, it's because I'm not the only one that wants to know the answer to this. And
Absolutely.
You're so eloquent in describing the technical ways that the law of vibration, law of attraction work. So let's take an industry baron. This is a nasty person. They're miserable, moany, negative, and yet they're making millions and millions and millions of pounds. So if everything's connected and we need, if we're correcting our energetic field and we're on a much higher frequency, we can manifest things in all parts of our lives. How is this dude doing this? How is he getting this success?
I hear you. And I've asked these questions myself, and I've encountered these people as well. In fact, I had a mentor just like this. And I asked this question not long ago. And I was like, this guy is so out of integrity. And he's such an egomaniac. Like, how is it that he's able to manifest millions of dollars? Like, I don't really get it. And what I came to learn was that channel, that one channel of manifesting money, he was in alignment with, but at what cost? It came at the expense of a lot of other things because he wasn't in integrity. So that one aspect of his life was flowing, but actually what I only found out relatively recently was every other aspect of his life was falling apart, and I had no idea. His relationship had fallen apart. He got a divorce. He actually got sued by a lot of his clients because he was actually busted for fraud because he was abusing money. So he lost a lot of money. As a result, he manifested millions and then he lost it. So we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And a lot of people present as being extremely powerful, wealthy, happy. They've got their, S word together. And people project that image to the outside world, and we draw our own conclusions. But make no mistake, we create our own karma. And we have to be in alignment with what we're wanting to create in order for it to not just be created, but for it to be sustainable. So quite often we can manifest something because we're in alignment with it in that moment. But if we don't remain in alignment, it disappears. The money thing is a perfect example. I've had a lot of clients who have come to me and said, I'm brilliant at manifesting money, but I'm dreadful at holding on to it. I can't hold on to it. As soon as it comes, it's gone. And I'm able to help them identify why that is and clear that it's unconscious fear around because of childhood experiences they've had witnessing, their parents, and they've developed the belief that money isn't safe or something like that, So it's one thing to be able to manifest something temporarily. It's another thing to be able to hold on to it. So don't be fooled into falling into the same trap that I fell into, at looking at other people and comparing yourself and thinking, well, how come they can do this and I can't? Because actually you don't know what's going on in that person's life, or how happy they are, how much joy they have, how healthy they are, how balanced every other aspect of their life is. But it's actually a really good question, Joe, and it's a really intelligent question. And it's one I'm continuing to examine myself, because I by no means have the definitive answer to this. It's a constant investigation. It's like I said, it's the putting of the jigsaw pieces together. And I love conversations like this because it's often the questions that have more wisdom than the answers. There's so much wisdom in that question.
And I'm sort of reflecting on this idea that actually there can be elements of your life that just go really, really well and really, really smoothly. And perhaps you don't even recognize or notice what they are because they're so natural to you. I remember when I met my husband, and whenever I'd say something like, oh, I think I've got a cold, he'd always say, no, we don't get colds. We just get mild symptoms of a cold. And he started me off on that. And I'm not even joking you. We hardly ever get colds, like hardly ever. Like if I get a little sniffle, I'll be like, oh, I've got a little symptom, always gone by the next morning. It's just something about, oh, we have such a strong belief that we don't get this. Neither of us suffered through COVID particularly or any of those things. And I think we just felt like, oh, it just isn't part of my reality. So it doesn't become one. And I remember a conversation that we had quite some time ago, and we were talking about the Me Too movement. And I said, oh, yeah, that's never been me. And you're like, what? Really? I've never, like, surely you've got a story about this because everyone does, right? And I was like, no. And I started in the world of media, working, in central London, in Soho, when I was 21 or whatever, working with much older guys, drinking at lunchtime and being put in all kinds of situations. And honest to goodness, I have, thank God, never experienced any of those sorts of things, and much understanding to people who have, but it's just never been part of my reality, to the point that it's just like, no, why would I? Is it really that common? Yeah, I've now learned it is that common, but just not my experience. And I guess these are just small examples, but there must be hundreds and thousands of these tiny examples that we're not even noticing in our lives are actually open channels to it's just like, oh, we've got hundreds of little mini open channels. We don't even realize or appreciate them because they're not in our conscious awareness until they're brought into our conscious awareness through conversations or through others' suffering and so on.
Yeah, and that's such a great point. And it reminds me of a conversation I had recently with some friends about traveling, and we were discussing different destinations. And I don't want to name it because I don't want to sound like I'm ragging on that area, but a certain country came up and I said, oh, I can't wait to go there. I've always wanted to go there. And this one friend said, oh my God, don't go there. It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. There's so much crime. You know, I went there and, you know, I got mugged like more than once, you know, I got, I just didn't feel safe. And then I had the same conversation with another friend the next day, and they were like, oh my God, it's the safest place in the world. There's no crime. It's just beautiful. You feel so safe. Like everyone was so friendly. And I was like, how interesting that two different people, and I've had several other conversations about this same country with other people since, and the reviews are so mixed. And it's because the experience you have in a particular place, it's not the place, because there's different people moving through that place all the time. So it's not like there's always crime in that one place, or there's always bad people in that place. It's always different. And, you know, it's chance meetings. So it's to do with your own personal experience in that area, which is determined by the frequency that you are emitting. So if someone is walking through that area emitting the frequency of victimization, you will attract people and circumstances and situations that resonate with the frequency of that identity. And you would probably attract a circumstance that will validate that you are a victim. If you're walking through that same area as a different person, feeling I'm so safe, I'm so in my power, not even thinking about any danger, that is what you will emit, and you will attract accordingly. And, you know, so we really are divine architects. We really are manifestation machines. And what we attract into our 3D hologram on a daily basis is a direct energetic match to our current frequency, period.
So if somebody, and I expect anybody and everybody listening to this point is going to be going, yeah, I'll get me some of that, thanks. Like, and what can people do on their own today to really start to get closer to manifesting the things they want most?
I would say number one is to pay more attention to your thoughts and to treat it like an exercise. Take 5 minutes today, and at a certain point, just take a step back and notice, if you're on your own going about your daily tasks, what you are thinking about, where you are choosing to place your focus, the you know, what you notice, and the stories and opinions about that thing come up into your head, and notice if they're positive or they're negative. And notice in the conversations you're having with other people how they go, because it's very easy to spot negative people by what they talk about. You can be talking about the same topic with two people, like the weather or, you know, the news, or you could be talking about a TV program you've watched, and two different people will have a completely different take on it. And people who are operating at a very negative frequency will choose to have a negative opinion and think negative thoughts and speak negative words about that topic. Chances are they're probably the kind of person that are attracting a lot of negative experiences in their life, you know? So yeah, pay attention to your thoughts, and then just try as an experiment, consciously choosing positive thoughts. And when you are thinking those positive thoughts, pay attention to your feelings, because your feelings are your internal guidance system that are letting you know how in alignment you are, excuse me, with what you actually want for yourself, how on track you are, how in alignment you are with your soul. And if you're feeling positive emotions, if you're feeling happy, that means you're aligned with your positive thoughts. That means you're aligned with your highest path and purpose. If you're feeling negative feelings, chances are they're coming from a negative thought. And start to pay attention to this, and start to consciously choose to redirect those thoughts, which in turn will change your feelings, which in turn will affect your actions, because thoughts become feelings, become actions, and that determines your reality. So that is the first way to take positive control over your life experience. Pay attention to your thoughts.
It sounds
That's
so
definitely
simple, doesn't
I
it? But
know.
it's like I think all of us were like, oh, I'll feel better and I'll think different thoughts when this thing changes, right? It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I've not had any clients all month. Well, I'll be happy when I have a client sign. Or, my partner's been grouchy all month and we've been in lots of arguments. If they would just stop behaving like that, I'll cheer up and I'll stop feeling it. And, what you say, of course, makes so much sense. But the reality is it's on us. It's like, if you want to
100%.
break the pattern, we can't wait for an external action to happen. We have to take control of our internal feelings, mind, and by virtue of those changed feelings, then exert our control on the external environment from going inward first. And only that's the only way we can do it, right?
Yeah. And that's called cleaning up your vibration. Because when you're thinking more positive thoughts and you are feeling more positive feelings, you are emitting a different frequency, and that will attract the similar frequency back. And you just feel better. And have you noticed when you are in a really positive state of mind and you go out into the world and you're feeling really good and you've got a smile on your face, have you noticed the effect you have on people around you?
I
People
get
go
loads
out
of
of
smiles back when I'm in.
yeah.
And the funny thing was, I was out the other day. I was in a really good state of mind, and people were smiling at me. And here's the funniest thing: I wasn't smiling. When this person smiled at me as they walked past, and I thought, oh, I must be smiling. And I checked on my face, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not smiling. They've literally just read my energy. It was
It was your
literally
energy.
just the energy. It wasn't like, oh, they smiled at you because you were smiling at them. I wasn't even smiling. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah. And when I'm in that state, even as you say, even when I'm not smiling, people, if I tell you, strangers go out of their way to bend over backwards to help me out, to do things for me, to offer me things, to show me kindnesses. And everything just seems to flow and fall into place in my favor. When I'm in a negative space, I'm in a negative energy, I get stuck at every red light. People are rude and obnoxious to me. Nothing flows. The internet suddenly crashes and everything just
And
just
then
goes wrong.
you stub your toe. Let's
And
just
then you
go
stub
there,
your
right?
toe and then you swear. And then it all comes crashing down. But that's exactly, it's a domino effect.
So
So if we
cleaning up energy, start with the
clean up your
thoughts.
energy, 100%, because that's the thing that's easiest for us to identify, first of all.
And where's the deep work, the work that you specialize in?
Oh, that's the quantum level work. That's very specialized energy work. And that is the good stuff. That is the juice. That is where you can have a complete energetic transformation and upgrade your frequency so that you literally transform your entire being. You are vibrating at a completely brand new frequency, and that's when miracles can happen. That is the sexy stuff. That's why I love to do what I do.
That
I've
sounds
watched
amazing.
people transform before my eyes. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, first of all, sign me up. And secondly, if people want to learn a little bit more about your work, where's the best place to find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Luna Starfeather, or my business page, Luna Starfeather Divine Coaching. I'm also Luna Starfeather Divine Coaching on Insta. I've got like a link tree on Facebook where you can have a little investigation, or you can reach me on my website, lunastarfeather.com. And you'll be notified of all the exciting programs and offers I have coming up. As a matter of fact, if you sign up to my website, lunastarfeather.com, I am offering a very special free gift, which is a 20-minute theta heart clearing, the quantum level heart clearing session, where I do an auric and karmic and soul level quantum heart clearing, get you into a theta state, which, as you probably know, that's the state where your brain waves are oscillating between 5 and 8 cycles per second. That's the brainwave state you're in when you're just waking up or you're just falling asleep, where your subconscious is most receptive to change. And so I get you into that state, and then I do a complete quantum level heart clearing. And I've had some very interesting reports back from people who have taken this session and said that they've had quite potent experiences and changes immediately. I mean, this work affects everyone completely differently. It depends how sensitive you are to energy, but it can't not work. That's the beauty of it. And, this gift will just give you a taste, give you a flavor of how this work can work. And it's just, it's my gift to you from my heart to yours.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for your generosity. And I'm going to make sure all the links are in the show notes. So if you want to connect with Luna, you can find her there. Luna, just last thing to say is thank you so much for sharing your gifts and joining me today on Goals with Soul.
Thank you so, so much. It's been my honor.
And my immense gratitude to Luna for joining us. And if you're interested in learning more about Luna's work, she is launching the Quantum Escalator, her 12-week immersive group program designed to systematically clear you and your business of any energetic blockage and activate your CEO frequency to the highest level of success and abundance using the power of quantum mechanics. It's going to run from Thursday, 7th of November. So if you're a coach or expert who's done being stuck beneath that income plateau glass ceiling and you're ready to become the energetic leader of your business, then perhaps this is for you. Simply go to insideoutupgrade.com to watch Luna's free training and discover all the juicy details. I personally have been part of Luna's containers and can personally recommend her phenomenal energy and teachings. And so have an inspired action week. Take care. Bye now.